We wanted to present this morning. This is kind of a two-part training this morning. We wanted to show you within the last 30 days or so, we've released our integration with the compliance engine, or TCE. This kind of goes both ways. A lot of you know it by TCE. Some of you know it by Brycer. It's one and the same. We've developed and released our integration with TCE and the compliance engine, that we are now able to pull data from TCE through their API and display information regarding TCE in Streamline. So both in admin and in the application itself. So I've actually got a property here pulled up. I want to go back, and we're not going to get into the deep level details on this morning. All departments need to be running version 7 before we can turn on the compliance engine component. So Olivia is going to go over some of the version 7 information this morning. That's just a conversion of your database on the back end. It's pretty straightforward. It's a pretty simple conversion on our side, but it does require you to change a few things on your end in the way that you log in or authenticate to Streamline. Some of you that really won't affect at all. Others it'll have a little bigger effect on, but it really only changes the way you log into Streamline. So Olivia is going to go over that in a little more detail here this morning, and there'll be a couple more training sessions on that. That will begin, we do have some departments converting now, but that's going to be something that we work on over the next few months. So in order to, again, back to the compliance engine, I'm in my property screen right now, and now I have the ability, I have the compliance engine once this is turned on. And this is the compliance engine to Streamline. So where we receive their data and map each property to one another. We can automate this in the background and then just show the exceptions. We're going to have a much bigger training on this once we have more people moved over to version 7. And there's a little more, interest in this conversion. But just note that we're basically matching properties from the compliance engine to Streamline and vice versa. So you're able to pair up those properties. There's going to be some properties in Streamline that TCE doesn't have. And there's going to be some TCE properties that may not be in Streamline. So the idea is to identify where those gaps exist, match those properties up, get the properties created in each system, so you have a mirrored system, and it just enhances the compliance between your reporting and your contractors. So that's kind of the back end of it at a high level. I'm going to go back into the properties section here. There's a couple of fields that we have in here. You can see that we have TCE compliancy and then TCE premise ID. This premise ID doesn't really mean a lot to me because I'm not a TCE customer. If you are a TCE customer, this probably makes a lot more sense to you. And we do have the link to this, so you can actually pop out into the TCE system and view these properties. Really what I'm concerned about and what I like is that we have this TCE compliancy button here. So I can literally filter on, if it's blank, if it's not blank, whether or not it's compliant or deficient. So you have the ability to say, hey, show me all the properties that I have in my database that are deficient. And I can clear out that business name. And very quickly, I can see that I have 229 properties in my database that are deficient. I have a property here. I'm going to click on the edit button here. And I'm going to skip over most of this stuff. Everybody that's on this call has been using Streamline. You're familiar with how these properties work. But under risk management, you see you now have a TCE information button. Okay. And under that TCE information button, this is where the data exists that we're pulling over through the API. So I can see that this premise, very high level, is compliant. It shows the information here. This is basically the information as it's coming over through the API. And then you can see that I have a fire alarm report and a sprinkler system. Both are compliant. I show the last service date and the renewal date. This is just in our demo system, so there may be updates in here. We're not updating this demo system in real time, but in any production environment, this is being updated in real time. You also have the ability to come in here and link this directly. I can come here. It'll open a new PWA web app, and I can log directly into the compliance engine from here. So we link this, and once you log in and validate your credentials, it's going to take you straight to that property in their system. So just keep that in mind, is that we do have that integration, and we have the ability to take you back to their system. There is no two-way integration. We're taking the data from them. We're just allowing you to go to their site and verify that information there. Let me share I'm going to share my mobile screen as well. In the mobile environment, you can see that this is just a scheduled inspection that I have in the mobile environment. I do now have, and this is just like any other template that I have in the system. There's now when you convert and begin using the compliance engine, you'll have a template that says TCE or the compliance engine. And you can click on that and see this exact same information in the field. So you don't have to have this on every template, although you do have the ability to have it on every template. So your inspectors now in the field are able to view this data directly from TCE. If they click on any of these links, again, it's just going to take them to that PWA and allow them to log in. Most of your inspectors probably don't have access to that, or they've never seen it. So that would just be some training on your end. But for the most part, all the information that's needed is right here. I can see the building's compliant, and I can see that I have 2 different reports. If I had additional reports here, those are all going to be listed here. Also, if I had additional inventory items, depending on how things are being tracked in TCE, they're going to be displayed here as well. So most of the time, we're just going to show these premise profiles, and they're going to show each individual system, what their status is, the service dates and the renewal dates on those. So I'm sure there'll be some questions on this. This is fairly new. We just released this within the last probably 3 weeks. So if there's questions on this, let us know. You can reach out to Damien, myself, or anybody in support as well, and we're happy to walk through this with you and show you in more detail. I just wanted to present this morning at a very high level what we're doing and what that is. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to turn the rest of the presentation over to Olivia. And if there are additional questions, you can hit us up in the chat, or you can just contact us directly. So I'm going to introduce Olivia Loy. Olivia came to us from our processing team. She started with us on the processing team, working in invoicing and working with Wendy's team. Olivia expressed interest in more the technology side. So we have now moved Olivia to our development team, and she's working with our development staff in support and managing reports and doing some data imports and more on the technology side. So we've given Olivia a little more opportunity, and she's going to be doing some of these monthly trainings to alleviate some of the work on Josh as well. So Olivia, welcome, and go ahead.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Justin. So yeah, excited to get to share some of these version 7 upgrades that the team has developed. Before we get started, I did want to mention a few things. I know Justin mentioned that we will be getting everyone upgraded here soon. We will be reaching out to you all through our ticketing system. So we'll reach out to you all whenever we are ready to migrate you all to the version 7 upgrade. If you have any questions, you are welcome to reach out. I also want to point out that many departments here, well, almost all departments probably on here today, are still on version 6. So the changes that I'm going to be showing today, and there aren't there's not an exhaustive list, but the changes I will be showing today will be coming once you do update. So I encourage you to write down any questions you might have. We will have a little bit of time for questions after each item. So here's the few quick things that we're going to be going over. One, with the version 7 upgrade, we have new login capabilities. We also have more customizable inspection and violation reporting. And also there are new options for templates for permit reports. So first thing we're going to go over are the login capabilities. In this slide, you will see that there is now a drop-down menu on the right side of Authenticate/Login. This new upgrade gives each user their own login. So in the past with version 6, you would log in by department, then choose your name from a drop-down at the end of completing the inspection. But now you will have your own user login to complete an inspection. Now note, if you are a department admin, you must click on this drop-down menu in order to log in. So you will not be able to log in from the Authenticate/Login button if you are a department admin. That blue button is now for inspectors only. And this is great for departments with multiple users using the same iPad. Next thing that we will talk through here is upgrades to inspector accounts. So as you can see in this short video, upon login, you're given the option of different inspection accounts to log into. And now it doesn't matter which one you click, because as you can see here, you are able to access other inspection accounts within your user login without completely logging out and having to log back in. So you can now toggle between what we call buckets or inspection accounts. Moving forward, your user login will be what specifies who did the inspection. You log in as yourself, then select the account where the inspection is assigned. Again, as kind of already mentioned, you will no longer complete an inspection, then choose your name from a drop-down menu. The only caveat to this is that if you are sharing an iPad, you must log out of the app when you complete an inspection. If you get on the app and someone is logged in, you need to log out in order to complete the inspection that was assigned to your user login. I know that's a lot of information there. Are there any questions before we move on to the next item? All right. Next item we will be looking at are the new capabilities to customize inspection reports. So in version 6, you were able to include photos in the inspections, but when there wasn't a violation, the photos would not show up on the inspection reports. Now the photos put with any inspection shows on the report. So as seen on this slide, even if there was no violation, the inspection reports still show the photo. Are there any questions regarding this new upgrade?
That's been a long-awaited feature. We've had numerous requests over the years where people have called in and said, "Hey, I'm really interested in, I'm really interested in taking some photos of this property. They're not necessarily violations, but we do want them printed on the report." Many of you do inspections for food trucks and do inspections for firework tents and stands and things of that nature. And want to be able to go out and take photos of those food trucks or take photos of firework stands or just take photos of properties in general and have those photos print on the report, but they're not necessarily violations. So that functionality will now exist in version 7.
So the last item we will be covering are changes to permit templates. We're not going to take too much of a deep dive into this for the sake of time, but as you can see in the mobile site, here is the option of different types of permit templates. Again, I'm not going to go into it, but each is customizable for your needs rather than just having a generic look for all different permit types. Here is a quick example of just a couple different types of permit reports. So as you can see, there are multiple reports on the, multiple permits on the same page here on the left. And then on the right, you can see the customizable watermark here in the background. So those are just a couple of the changes. Again, I don't want to get too deep into this or get exhaustive, but those are just some quick ones.
We will
any
have
questions?
more extensive training on these as well.
Yes, awesome. All right. Well, really, that is about all I have. I hope that you all were able to gather some helpful information about the login capabilities and the new customizable inspection and violation reports, and also were able to see the new templates for permit reports. Any questions about anything?
Olivia, you may want to just reiterate the process of updating to version 7 and that we will be reaching out to departments to discuss the details of that upgrade in greater detail, and then a timeline for departments to move over.
Absolutely. Yeah. So what we will do is, again, through the ticketing system, we will be reaching out to departments. Timeline wise, I don't have an exact timeline. Steve, you might be able to speak into that a little bit on the timeline in which we'll be reaching out to each department.
Yeah, so we're evaluating each department independently. We actually have a tool that goes and identifies the challenges for each department. And to be honest with you, we're kind of cherry picking the easier transitions first. And from there, we're solidifying our process, and then we will reach out. We have about 20 departments in queue right now, and we will move forward based on the changes that we see from our evaluation tool. Whether or not how you fall into that list is really what it boils down to. If for some reason you have a high priority need for this, please reach out to us. We absolutely are accommodating, as you guys know.